Some people call it climbing for dummies, said Mark Morrison with a grin, putting a hand over his eyes to stare up hundreds of feet of rock into a sky of flat, hot southern hemisphere blue. That's okay by me. I want to make climbing more accessible. For the past 3 years, Mark and his wife Laurel have been setting up a via ferrata, a climbing route of steel staples, cables, and bridges, first used by the military in the Italian Dolomites during the First World War. It ascends the Twin Falls, which twists and bounces down 1,000 feet of granite near Wanaka in New Zealand's South Island. Last weekend they opened the final section, which will, they claim, make Twin Falls the highest waterfall via ferrata in the world. The full megaroad is called Lord of the Rungs, a cheeky nod to the Otago region's role as a Middle-earth location in the blockbuster film series. Twin Falls bounces down 1,000 feet of granite near Wanaka in New Zealand's South Island. Credit Camilla Rutherford for Wildwire Wanaka. If ever there was evidence that the idea works, it's me. I genuinely thought I'd signed up for a waterfall walk, not a climb, and only realized when Laurel gave me a form with a box saying, "Are you scared of heights?" which I ticked. I'm okay with steep slopes, but vertical drops are not my thing. We agreed that I'd try the first section and take the path down if necessary. Here's the key rule, she said, trussing me and the 2 other rookies into tough webbing harnesses, clinking with steel carabiners. You must always have 2 clips attached to the wire. Always. This rang a bell. It was just like the Go Ape in my local park. But bigger. We took turns to scale a practice boulder several times, clipping and unclipping, grabbing handholds, looking for foot staples, holding onto the steel cable. Then we climbed a 1,000-foot waterfall. This was the intermediate option with the walk down again. It took around 5 hours and included plank bridges, precipitous wire crossings and a shed load of cables. It was just like the Go Ape in my local park. But bigger. Credit Camilla Rutherford for Wildwire Wanaka. I will never understand how that simple act of clipping onto a wire switches off the fear in the brain. After all, you're still hundreds of feet up in the air. You could fall off a bridge to swing like a baby in the void, or have a heart attack out of reach of the emergency services. Or that's how you think if you're me. Instead, we clipped and reached and swung and climbed, shuffling carefully along the cable bridges, stabilized by 2 guide wires at arm height. Below us the ground dropped away, and dropped away, until down between our feet was a heavenly view of lakes and mountains and toy cars and thousands of tiny red deer grazing the lush grasslands below. "This is amazing," said Dinesh, an ultra-fit, youthful retiree from America, happily swinging off walls to take photographs of his wife, competently scaling one rock face after another. It was even more amazing when we reached the top of the intermediate climb and leapt into a freezing pool under the waterfall, where the pounding water had created a hollow. Below us the ground dropped away, and dropped away, until down between our feet was a heavenly view of lakes and mountains. Credit Camilla Rutherford for Wildwire Wanaka. That's where we met Mark and his more experienced climbers, halfway up their route to the very top. That's the section they've just cabled. Next time I'll be able to do that too. We asked the local landowner when we first had the idea, said Mark. He wondered who the hell would want to do it, but he was fine with it. As long as we don't interfere with the fawning in October. Climbing mates help them plot the route, make the holds with a hammer drill on a rope, glue in staples and eyelets, thread through hundreds of feet of cable and build the bridges. A helicopter pilot friend dropped off the hardware and equipment. Now there are 3 stages. Go Wild, the beginner section of 490 feet, perfect for first-timers and children. Wild Thing, the one I did, which is over 1,000 feet, and Lord of the Rungs to the waterfall summit, a mighty 1,500 feet, with the added bonus of a heli ride down again. Mark and Laurel met in Antarctica when she was doing her master's in glaciology and he was Antarctic field trainer for Scott Base. Several neighbors near Wanaka, laid-back cousin to activity hotspot Queenstown, are Everest summiteers. And it gets worse. "Our 7-year-old's done Go Wild," Laurel said casually, "and our 4-year-old's done the first bit. Now if that's not an incentive, I don't know what is." How to do it. Wildwire Wanaka wildwire.co.nz Twin Falls climbs cost from NZ £189 for Go Wild 3 hours, NZ £249 for Wild Thing 5 hours and NZ $495 7 hours, including helicopter descent. The minimum age is 12 years old, but they are happy to discuss individual cases. For information on New Zealand, see newzealand.com.